Hey everybody, it's The Great Escape here, and welcome to another episode on our Into the Nether Minecraft Let's Play Survival World. I don't normally start out our episodes with a time lapse without, a little introduction, but there's so much that we want to accomplish in today's episode. I'm going to be building over some farms in our new base area now that I've got it kind of laid out and ready to go. And so we've got so much to do and so many materials that we need to gather before we do that. So we're starting it off a little bit differently. If you are excited to get the base under construction and get some redstone and some farms in place, drop a like down at the bottom. It definitely helps the channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I don't know why you haven't, but go ahead and do it. And we're going to go ahead and jump right into today's episode. So we're back from our time lapse and we're ready to go, and I've got the platform kind of laid out here. I've gone through all of my quartz resources and have done another farming session to get some quartz, and this is all we've got. So it's going to take a long time to fill that in, but it's definitely looking a lot better. And weird if the mic volume or whatever's weird, I broke the cord going to my fancy snowball whatever mic, and so I'm having to do this with a headset, so I apologize for any quality there. But in these two shulker boxes, we've got the materials that we're going to need to build today. We've got some hoppers and furnaces there, and we've got some pistons and things there. What do you think we're going to be building? Alright, so I've got the first little bit of our first thing laid out, and if you didn't guess, we're building up a super smelter here, and this is going to be a 24 array super smelter. It's not going to have too much fancy redstone or anything like that. I don't need anything that is, I'm not worried about making sure that it's lossless in the amount of materials that are put in there or anything like that. But before we get started, I'm going to plant the 10 bamboo that I do have, because that's all I managed to pick up, and let them kind of start growing so I can, while I'm building my smelter, I can get some bamboo heading into the system, and I might have to do some AFKing just to get enough bamboo to build up my bamboo and sugarcane farm. But while we're building the smelter, we're going to do that. But this is a super simple smelter design. It's going to use some rails and some mine carts to deliver the materials to each of the smelters. It is kind of hopper intensive, but all super smelters are. But thankfully I got a lot of iron in the last few days with mining and different sessions and things like that. So we're kind of ready to go. But first thing I need to do is pop I think the output chest is going to be here, I think that makes sense. And so then underneath each of these these furnaces, I need to put a hopper that they all connect into that chest. And so I can get rid of my temporary blocks for right now, because all of the hoppers are going to go there down the line. This super smelter design is super easy as I'm building it. If you want to copy it over and build it into your world, it is a super simple design. It's relatively efficient. It's probably not as efficient as one that has long redstone chains and comparators and all these types of things to ensure like item placement and whatever, but I get pretty even item distribution with this one, and with a 24 array it is pretty fast, and I can also extend it out at any point. So I think if I wanted to double the size of it, I would have to have kind of a break in the system where there would be some more powered rails to kind of push the carts along. But ultimately I could probably extend this out to a 48 array if I wanted to. Now I'm putting in the hoppers for the coal, and I need to figure out where I want the input chests for the coal and for the items that are going to go into the smelter. So let me fly up here. The only thing about building on the upside down half slabs is that like even if I put like a scaffolding block or whatever, I'd have to jump to get to them. But the input hoppers all go up here, and the nice thing about this is I only need one line of input hoppers and one line of coal hoppers for each one, rather than if you're doing like a redstone line, I think you have to have two, because the top hoppers get locked by the redstone line. This one, because we're going to do carts, we don't have to worry about that. So there we go. So that's all of the hoppers necessary for the furnaces. I'm going to need a few bit more just to connect these up to the input chests for the items and things. I think I might need to move the input chests there. Oh wait. Oh, if I built... I think I built this wrong. I think it would make more sense to have the hoppers for the coal on the inside rather than the outside, so that they can, one chest could get to them. Yeah. Um, Anyway, I'm going to keep playing around with this design and kind of messing with it, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I moved the coal hoppers to the inside because that definitely makes much more sense, since now I can kind of have the coal input chest connected immediately, and it'll be a lot easier than trying to like run weird lines of hoppers around the whole system or whatever. So that's kind of what we've got going right now. And then the mine carts are going to be coming out here. I think they need to come out this 2 blocks out or 3 blocks out. I need 2 blocks because the powered rail is going to sit there, and I don't want it to interfere with the hoppers at all. So the powers are going to go there, and then I need my regular rails, and I've got more rails back at the base. I just don't know why I didn't bring them all, but the rails are going to run down this way, and there's going to be two chest mine carts, one for each input and for coal for each set of the arrays. They're going to be fed by a single chest, those, so that won't be such an issue. But they're going to come down here, and I think if I just run this line, rails are so weird. Like, working with rails is a nightmare. Yeah, I'm gonna have to grab the rest of my rails to kind of finish that off. But anyway, this is kind of where the system's gonna go, and it should be pretty straightforward and simple. But those are gonna come down, and we're gonna do that. So the next thing I need to do is put some hoppers pointing down onto these rails. Oh, moving out of the way. There we go. And there. And then on top of these right here, I could just go ahead and put my chest. This is my input for my coal. And then, let's see. I think I'm going to need to go up and over here, and then up and over here, and then I can put my input chest for this is the items that are going to get smelted. So this is a little bit taller than it probably needs to be, but I could probably have done it from the side, but it's okay. Again, this is all going to be inside of a building of some kind, so all of this is going to be the interior of the building, so I have plenty of space and room to work with it, and I'm going to go ahead and pull out the claim chest as well, so that they're all in line here. But I'm gonna have to kind of tear this out. Alright, well, I'm gonna fix that up, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got all of my rails in, as well as the levers that are going to power up my rails. So all I have to do now is pop in my minecarts, and just they go in here and there and there and there. Very, very straightforward and simple. And then if I power this, oh wait, that one went, but this one didn't go. Oh, I think I need a block behind them in order for them to go, so I'm going to have to put a block there to grab them. But when I turned off the lever, then it did do that. Now, I could have a fancy redstone system that, you know, kind of activated when like one lever will activate both sides, and I'll probably put that in at some point, but for right now this is going to be just as fine by me. Like, again, you know, I'm not like a super great redstone person, but if I can use it to make my life a little bit easier, then I'm going to do that. So there we go. So the system looks like it's working, and they're going back and forth. So now it's just a matter of getting some coal into these, and I'm making sure I didn't accidentally drop anything that went into the furnaces. But get some coal, get some items in here, and run a quick test of our system. Alright, so I'm going to dump in the coal here into this input box, and the best way I guess with this system would probably be to kind of let it filter out from at least a stack or so before you run it. You don't have to. I think that would just ensure that you're not wasting too much coal, or that your furnaces get turned off randomly. But we've got, I'm just letting it run for just a moment. And then I think ultimately, like, these blocks could go here. I don't think I can put any blocks to cover up those furnaces, because then I wouldn't, or those things, hoppers, because I wouldn't be able to reach the input chest up there. I could probably fix that, but for an aesthetic reason, I don't know. I might come back and make that change, but we'll see. But that should have the things kind of run. Yeah, that's 4 stacks in the system already. And then, so let's go ahead and run it. And I just want to make sure that they're distributing evenly into each of the furnaces with the coal. So, I'm not getting any in the first furnace, but I'm getting some in the second furnace, and they're distributing evenly in the other furnaces. That's looking good, but nothing in the first furnace. Huh. That redstone isn't powering that furnace, so I don't know why it's not taking anything in. That's really weird. Is it happening on the other side? Let me run over here and check the other side and make sure they're distributing properly. Yeah, nothing in the first furnace over here either. That's weird. Oh wait, I think, oh, is that hopper down there picking up stuff? I think when I did my output line of hoppers, that I actually built one of the hoppers going underneath where the cart goes for the coal, so it might actually be picking it up and going into the output chest. But it's looking good in all the other furnaces, so I just need to fix the issue with the first furnace, and then we'll run a quick tester. Yeah, that's what's the problem. Alright, so we've got everything hopefully fixed now, and so I'm just running a quick test to make sure that my rewiring did. Okay, there we go. So we're getting coal in the first furnace now. Perfect. So it was the hopper that was the issue. It is now fixed, and everything is evenly distributing down the line, which is awesome. The first furnace is obviously going to have a little bit less coal in it, but that's not a big deal. Alright, so now I've got 2 stacks of sand. I'm going to dump those in and kind of let them filter into the system for a minute, and then go ahead and I'll flick it on in just a second, and we'll run our test, and we'll see just how quickly the sand comes into our output chest. Alright, flick on, and they're all turning on down the line. Perfect. And on this side over here, yep, those are all on as well. Perfect. Good. And oh my gosh. That is spectacular. So our furnace array is up and working, and looks like it's doing a pretty awesome job. So on to our next farm. So now that the furnace array is done and we've got everything that we need, I'm going to go ahead and pop in some item frames here just so I can remember, and if anybody else ever were to use this, that they would know that that's the input chest for your coal, and then that up there is the input chest for items that you want smelted. And this furnace array is done. All I have to do now is build up the building around it, and that's going to look pretty awesome and great. But it's super fast. I mean, I think it went through 2 stacks really quickly, and it'd probably be even faster if it were more stacks, so that's pretty awesome. But over here I've outlined where our next farm is going to go, and this is going to be just a square shaped, pretty simple build, but it is going to be our bamboo and sugarcane farm. So I'm going to continue to plant my bamboo over here so I can make sure I get enough of it to build the farm. And I'm actually probably going to have to go AFK for a little while just to let all this grow up. And that's a really pink pig. Are they normally that pink? That's really pink. Anyway, I'm going to let all this bamboo grow, and I'm going to plant it all here. And then the farm will be ready to run. And I'm not sure how much, if I'm going to do equal parts bamboo and sugar cane, but because I think one grows faster than the other, but we'll see. But let's go ahead and AFK a bit and then get started. Alright, so this is kind of the outline of what it's going to look like. That's kind of all that's not going to be made out of dirt, although it doesn't really matter because again this is going to be encased in a building, but that's kind of it. Although I think this is actually not right because I think I need an extra line underneath the dirt to put a minecart rail. Because otherwise it won't be lossless, because sometimes when the pistons break the bamboo or the sugarcane, they land on the block and then they don't fall into the water and blah 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 blah. So I might have to come back here and fix that. But this is where it's going to start out, and so let's go ahead and start building a little bit of the first few layers of the farm. In order to do that, I'm going to need a lot of stone for building, and what better way to do that than to use our new smelter. So dropping 9, 10, 11, 12 stacks of cobble in here. Letting it kind of phase a little bit, and then turn on the system. Just a second. Once it's kind of, I'm going to let it go through maybe 3 or 4 stacks, and then we'll turn on the system and we'll see how quickly this starts coming in. And the output is gonna start in just a second. There it goes. Oh, oh my gosh, that is fantastic. That is great. I'm so happy now that I have a super smelter. Yes, so getting glass and everything is going to be so much easier. This is fantastic. Alright, so here's kind of the first layer. I accidentally put water down, and then I realized, nope, I'm going to need a cart, so that water is useless and not present, but the minecart's going to go around and around and around and pick up anything that falls on the blocks, and then there's hoppers that connect it down to our main kind of hopper line there. And I probably don't need to use as many hoppers as I'm using, but I had a lot because of how successful I've been with iron gathering lately, and so I just made a bunch, and so I've got them to use, so I'm going to go ahead and use them. But on top of each of these minecart lines, I'm going to have another layer of kind of dirt coming around, and this is the actual layer where the sugarcane and the bamboo are going to are going to go. But anyway, it's going to pop up there. And then the redstone mechanics will go behind that. So let me go ahead and pop up here and put some of this down, and then we'll be right back with the redstone part. Alright, so we've got all of that in, and the water sources and our sugar cane in. I've still got to throw the bamboo down, but next up we've got our pistons, which are going to go on top of these blocks here. And so they'll break the bamboo or the sugar cane at the second level. So anytime it'll break it down back to its 1 level height. Bamboo can grow 30 or 40 blocks high. Sugarcane can go, I think, up to 4 blocks high naturally, but we're going to break it off once they get to 3 blocks high, just for there. Sugarcane grows actually relatively slowly. I think it's like 1 tick or 1 every 18 minutes on average or something like that. So I do think that I'm probably going to end up making one of these a bamboo side and the other all sugarcane, but we'll see. And I'm going to take these up, and this is all just going to get stacked on top of each other, so it's kind of, at this point, it's just layer building. But I need to go around and pop in some just blocks here. And then behind each of the pistons, I'm going to have a row of blocks, and that's where our redstone is going to go. And then the observers go on top of the pistons. This is a very typical redstone design for a sugarcane or a bamboo farm. You've probably seen it 1,000 times, but this is what we're going to be building. And then we've got a line of observers here. And so anytime a sugarcane grows to that height, it'll activate all the pistons at once. I guess I could probably do it so that it only activates one piston at a time, but I don't know, that just seems, it would be intensive for no reason, but whatever. Alright, so then they're all going to get connected. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that redstone down on all sides, and then we'll build up the rest in a really quick time lapse, and then we'll come up and kind of sign off with the rest of the show. Alright, so there we go. We've got the full system in place, and it's run for about 20 minutes or so, and I have way more bamboo than sugarcane. So I've gone ahead and made 3 sides into sugarcane and only 1 side into bamboo. And then that's kind of there. I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of gonna mess around with some of it and kind of, there's a guy who spawned right over there, but we're gonna mess around with some of the design and make it the most efficient way possible. I may end up making only like half of 1 side into bamboo if it continues to be that way. Although I can use the bamboo over in my furnace array as fuel, so I might want a lot of it. I don't know. We'll see. But if you've enjoyed this video, please drop a like down at the bottom. It definitely helps the channel. And if you want to see more like this, then please subscribe. But this is step 1 of making this area super farmy and super wonderful, and there's going to get some cool buildings around this. But that's all I've got time for in today's episode, and so I think you'll have to wait and join us for next time into the Nether. But this has been The Great Escape, and I will see you next time.